This episode is presented to you in the form of an audiobook.
The boy on the last bench. The first time Emma noticed him, he wasn't doing anything special. No grand entrance. No dramatic moment. No music playing in the background. He was simply sitting on the last bench of the classroom, looking outside the window while the teacher explained something nobody seemed interested in. The sunlight fell softly on his face. For a second, she forgot what page they were on. Then the teacher called her name. She stood up in panic. The whole class laughed. Even he smiled. Not at her. Just because the moment was funny. But somehow, that tiny smile stayed in her mind for weeks. Some people enter your life with a conversation. Others, with a single glance. And before you even realize it, your brain starts looking for them in every crowd. Emma didn't know his favorite color. She didn't know his birthday. She barely knew anything about him. But every morning, before sitting down, she would secretly check if he was already in class. If he wasn't there, the room somehow felt emptier. Weeks turned into months. Nothing happened. No one confessed. No one flirted. No one even exchanged more than a few words. Yet somehow, he became part of her daily routine. She noticed when he got a haircut. She noticed when he looked tired. She noticed when he smiled at his friends. She noticed everything. And he never noticed her. Or at least, that's what she believed. One rainy afternoon, everyone rushed out after school. Emma forgot her notebook inside the classroom. When she came back, he was still there, standing near the window, watching the rain. For a few seconds, they were completely alone. This was the perfect chance. She could have said, "Hi." Or maybe, "I think this weather is beautiful." Anything. Literally anything. Instead, she quietly picked up her notebook, looked at him for less than a second, and walked away. The conversation that could have changed everything never happened. That night, she couldn't sleep. Not because something happened, but because nothing happened. She imagined hundreds of different versions of that moment. One where they laughed together. One where he asked for her number. One where they became friends. Her imagination created memories that reality never did. This is something psychology often explains. The human brain doesn't only remember experiences. It creates them. Especially when emotions are involved. That's why an unfinished story often stays longer in our minds than a finished one. Because our brain keeps trying to write an ending. Emma didn't love a relationship. She loved a possibility. And possibilities are incredibly difficult to forget. By the middle of junior year, her friends had figured it out. "You like him, don't you?" She immediately denied it. No. Too quickly. Too confidently. The kind of answer that only made them laugh harder. One friend smiled and whispered, "Then why do you always look at him when you think nobody's watching?" Emma stayed silent. Because she didn't have an answer. Or maybe she had too many. From that day on, she became even more careful. Whenever he walked into the classroom, she looked away first. Whenever he spoke, she pretended to be busy writing. Whenever he laughed, she tried not to smile. It was almost funny. The person she wanted to notice her was the exact person she avoided the most. Fear has strange habits. It doesn't always make people run away. Sometimes, it makes them hide in plain sight. Winter arrived. The classroom windows fogged up every morning. Students complained about exams. Teachers gave impossible assignments. Everyone seemed stressed. Except Emma. Because while everyone else counted grades, she counted moments. The day he borrowed a pen. The day he accidentally held the door open. The day he answered a difficult question. Tiny memories. Meaningless to everyone else. Precious to her. One afternoon, the teacher announced a group project. For one impossible second, Emma imagined hearing his name next to hers. Her heart beat so loudly, she could barely hear anything. Then the teacher finished reading the groups. Different teams. Different corners of the classroom. Different worlds. She smiled anyway, pretending it didn't matter. But on the bus ride home, she stared out the window the entire time. Sometimes disappointment doesn't arrive with tears. Sometimes it arrives quietly and sits beside you all the way home. As months passed, she realized something terrifying. Graduation was getting closer. Soon everyone would leave. Some would move cities. Some would chase careers. Some would never meet again. And she still hadn't said a single honest sentence to the boy who occupied her thoughts every night. For the first time, the future scared her more than rejection. Because rejection hurts once. Regret has a habit of staying forever. Little did she know, someone else in that classroom had also been waiting. Just not in the way she imagined.